Effective language teaching. The first video in this two-part series looked at some key factors of being an effective language learner. Now we will consider what effective language teaching looks like. This will just skim a few topics since several other videos will focus on more specifics of language teaching. As I mentioned in the first video in this series, the following thoughts are culturally based and may not apply in all settings, but do for most classrooms in the U.S. First, good teachers care about the learner as a person. This is worded differently in various theories. For example, Krashen, in his input theory, points out a need to lower a student's affective filter. By affective filter, he means the emotional barriers we all have. In language learning, most students will enter the classroom with some degree of nervousness. Too much will prevent them from learning. So the effective teacher uses games, group activities, music, or other resources to lower the emotional obstacles. Caring about the learner also means creating a safe environment where risks are encouraged and students are not forced into embarrassing situations. Don't get me wrong, there will be embarrassing situations in any classroom. But when they happen, the instructor should minimize their impact and emphasize the normalcy of making mistakes. This leads us into the next aspect, which is that effective teachers provide appropriate scaffolding for learners. By scaffolding, I mean breaking a task down into smaller chunks that are easier for the learner to accomplish. Early in the semester, it means giving very detailed and specific instructions, whereas later in the semester, some of the detail can be removed and learners can be encouraged to build their independence. Scaffolding also includes the idea of assisting learners to see how their prior knowledge in an area can help them learn this new information. Also, effective teachers know how and when to provide correction and feedback. This takes a lot of TESOL training and practice. If you correct every mistake, the learner may get discouraged and give up. At the very least, they won't know what is really important for them to correct. They depend upon the instructor to help them solve significant errors instead of minor mistakes. Effective teachers are prepared for class with a plan that builds day by day. They know the pedagogical theory behind what they're doing in class, meaning that they have a learning reason for everything they do. They don't use videos or workbook activities to take up time and babysit the students. If they use them, they have a learning objective for them. The lessons are designed to fulfill learners' needs and to motivate them to learn. How can teachers meet every student's needs? This gets into the area of differentiated instruction. Many instructors use technology to help with the variety of needs as well as learning styles. They also use small groups and/or stations. The idea of stations is that a few students are in one area of the class or lab working on something meaningful to them, while another group is in another area working on something else, and another group is working on something else. Besides these ideas, teachers should be prepared to use a variety of materials in class and a variety of activities. Some students may not like role-playing, for example, while others will love it. By not always doing exactly the same activity in the same way, teachers can provide greater motivation and meet more needs. While there are numerous other aspects, I want to finish with this. Effective teachers know when to be the experts in the classroom and when to be the assistants. Encouraging active learning means that students need to explore and discover without the instructor telling them what to do all the time. At those times, the teacher is there as a facilitator or assistant to keep the learners moving in the right direction. Let's review. Effective teachers care about the learner as a person. They provide appropriate scaffolding, give meaningful correction, are prepared and know the theory behind what they're doing in a class, meet learners' needs and motivate them, and spend time as facilitators in the classroom instead of always being the expert. Now it's your turn. Do you agree with the factors of effective learning and teaching I've mentioned in these videos? If so, why? If not, why not? What else would you have?